Hello and welcome to Ukraine Today. I'm Volodymyr Solohub. Join me now to discuss the reactions of the Parisians to the terror attacks is the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Bishop of Paris, His Excellency Borys Gudziak. Your Excellency, welcome to Ukraine Today.
It's good to be here with you.
Your Excellency, can you tell us how Paris and Parisians are taking what has happened on Friday night?
Well, there are many reactions. Parisians at first immediately showed great courage. The people in the stadium came out singing the national anthem. As they were coming out during the emergency period, people couldn't get home, so many people were putting on Twitter, "Listen, you can come and stay at my house." A lot of solidarity. Just like after the terrorist act in January, so too now we see a great mobilization of good spirit, of support among Parisians, among French people, and I think all people of goodwill.
Your Excellency, what is the prevailing feeling among the Parisians? Is it anger? Is it fear?
Like in all cases of such brutal, wanton violence, there's a mixture of feelings. There's a lot of anger, there's confusion, there's also fear and concern, but I think there's a growing resolve to stand up to this violence, and there's a clear realization that the goal of this violence is to create fear. And we in church today spoke about today's gospel where Jesus says, "Do not be afraid." And I think that is a very important message for Paris today.
Yeah, this is indeed an important message. Now that the reality has settled in, are people getting back to their everyday lives?
It's hard to say that people are getting back to their normal lives. This happened on Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday. It's the weekend. You can see people are on the streets. Our church was filled. It's not as filled and the streets aren't as full as every weekend. But we will see what happens this coming week. There's a state of emergency declared for 12 days. There's 1,500 soldiers in the city. The police have special authority to conduct inspections. There's a lot of armed security personnel in the metros. So there is a clear sense of difference. This is not a typical weekend in Paris.
Your Excellency, in your opinion, what helps the Parisians to get back to their everyday lives, to continue living the lives they had?
I think we all have a sense of the basics, that we need to stand up for our dignity and not be afraid. But we also realize that this dramatic blow that Paris and France received is not an isolated incident. It has precedents, and it has perpetrators who have declared a war. They've declared a war against Christians in the Middle East. They've declared war against many established orders. They've declared war against Europe, against North America, against all people of goodwill who believe in democracy, in the freedom of conscience, in the brotherhood of nations. There's a desire to instill and impose a regime which is hateful. And so it will not be easy. France has had a lot of social unrest over the last decade. There are many questions about what is the identity of the European Union. The question is, do Europeans have an identity, and what is the source of their identity that will give them the strength to stand up to such brutality, such carnage? So France has big questions before it, and I think people are bracing themselves. They're thinking. People of faith are praying, realizing that there's a long road ahead.
Your Excellency, when you are talking to the Ukrainian community in Paris, what are you hearing from them? What are they telling you?
The message today in church was not to be afraid, but also to share our Ukrainian dignity and our historical experience with the people of Paris and France. We're experts in surviving terrorism. We had to do it throughout the entire 20th century. We're doing it now. The Maidan, the Revolution of Dignity, was a sign of our will to stare terrorism and fear straight in the eye and move forward, declare our God-given dignity. So I encourage all our faithful to reach out to people in Paris, to make a phone call, and to follow the words of Jesus in today's gospel. Do not be afraid.
Your Excellency, a lot of Ukrainians have changed their profile pictures in the social media to that with the colors of the French flag, in solidarity with the French people. They were immediately criticized by other Ukrainians who claim that the French never showed this much solidarity with thousands of Ukrainians who have been killed during the war in eastern Ukraine. What is your position on that?
We are leaders. We should take the high position always, morally, spiritually, politically, socially. I can say that the understanding and support for Ukraine rose dramatically here in France from the time when I arrived 3 years ago to today. Yes, we have a lot of work to do. We have to communicate a lot. But it is important today to do the right thing. And this blow against Paris and against France is not just a French problem. This will be seen as a global problem increasingly. It will touch us in Ukraine. And so every sign of solidarity is positive, and solidarity, like light in a candle passed to another candle, does not take anything away from you, but it gives strength to the other and gives you strength because you show solidarity. So I encourage all Ukrainians to be in solidarity with the French, and we will see that the world community will support us increasingly, because we are all facing the same problems of evil, of violence, of fragmentation in society that can only be overcome by unity, our mutual respect, a sense of dignity and solidarity.
Yeah, it looks like solidarity is something we all need right now. Your Excellency, many thanks for joining us. Ukrainian Greek Catholic Bishop of Paris, Borys Gudziak. This has been a discussion on the reactions to the attacks in Paris. I'm Volodymyr. Thank you for watching Ukraine Today.